Free bird, yeah. All right, folks, welcome back to the Night's Watch. Welcome back to me.
Welcome back, Jacob.
Yeah, apologies for the long delay. I was very sick. And before that, I was in Seattle.
And I did a solo episode last week. Like, what are you feeling like with this team? We're at the break. Obviously, it's Four Nations. There's some of our guys are in Four Nations right now. One of our guys, unfortunately, is week to week after possibly breaking his wrist.
I would say William Carlson.
Another guy,
yeah,
possibly
classic.
breaking his wrist in the first period of that game.
The beginning of the second period.
Beginning of the second period.
Innocuous hit.
Just like something that's you do. It happens all the time. He got hit and he was going towards the boards. Again, nothing was wrong with his hit. It was a normal hockey play, and he went to put his hand up to protect his face from falling, and he's bent his wrist backward pretty bad at an awkward angle. And people go, well, it's because they're doing extracurricular hockey. Like, that shit will happen in a game. Can happen in any game.
Yeah.
1 through 82.
Yeah. So I know we've been pro Four Nations, and we had a preview episode. Yeah. Obviously, I missed last week, so I didn't get to hop on that. I just want to reiterate that one. This is fucking awesome, okay?
Yeah,
and I saw these
so much fun.
I remember I saw a comment like, "Is it worth it now, Vegas fans?" I was like, "Shut the fuck up!" I'll just say it. Yes, it is worth it because this is fucking awesome.
Is so much fun.
That first game gave me fucking goosebumps.
I watched most of it, and then we went to the Silver Knights game, and I was watching the end of it in between periods. Mm-hmm. And this game was fucking electric. It was, and that was just Sweden versus Canada.
No, exactly. And it really is just the novelty, I'm going to say the novelty, but seeing like fucking Sid Crosby and fucking McKinnon and
Stone together, Stone scoring
a
goal in that first game, and
yeah, dude,
and that power play being fucking disgusting. Like, what was that 30 seconds into the first game, and this McKinnon just lasers it from Crosby.
Yeah, and then it was just,
and that game was so much fun. And then you go to I know we're talking. I feel terrible for Shea Theodore. He's having a great season. It's bad for us, and it's something that you risk even in going to an All-Star game. You can risk it too.
I was gonna say, I'm like,
at least he did it playing for his fucking nation instead of playing for Team Western Conference or some shit like that.
No, exactly. I'm like, you know what, like. Yeah, it sucks, but guess what, guys? Injuries happen all the fucking time. Yeah. Guys get injured in fucking practice.
Yeah.
Drew Doughty missed half the season because of a preseason game.
Yeah, he literally a preseason game against us. He fucking broke his ankle and he missed up until now the entire season.
Yeah,
it happens. It happens.
He's literally played 4 games.
It happens all the goddamn time, and you know what? LA has stuck with it and stuck in a playoff position. And the Golden Knights need to hunker down and do the same thing. Shea Theodore is a very key piece, but Drew Doughty is bigger to the LA Kings than Shea Theodore is to the Golden Knights. Mm-hmm. Like, Drew Doughty is everything for them.
I guess I will say though, I guess it's a good thing Petro
didn't go, right?
Getting some rest because guess what, buddy? It's going to be a long fucking 8 weeks.
He's going to be quarterbacking power play 1. But
he's going to be playing fucking 25 minutes a night for the rest of the season.
What was the joke you made? You're like, oh, Caden Korsak needs to get some more games. Monkey paw girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, hey, if people were looking for that, guess what? He's about to be playing. Maybe they'll alternate him with him and Hutton. But he's probably going to be playing from now until the rest of the season.
It's awful because again, Theodore he's number 4 in scoring and defense, and he's having such a great season. It's going to be hard to absorb just his point production. I think defense wise, we can absorb it. Like, Hutton's good enough on his own. Korzak's
he's an NHL defenseman.
Yeah, Korzak's a big boy. He's and then they're gonna probably pair him with McNabb, and we all know McNabb's just fucking rock solid. Mm-hmm. It's the point production that Petro's gonna have to step up. Hannafin's gonna have to step up.
That's what my big worry has been. Is earlier you said like, oh, well, what is this team? Where are we? I'm not feeling great, man. I know we won a couple before the break and felt good, but this team is not scoring a lot.
No, the scoring that started off the season has really dried up, and it's not because Carlson's on in, because Carlson really wasn't doing much because he was probably dealing with an injury. It's just they're not scoring, right? Like you said, I know Saad's been a breath of fresh air, and he
has like what 2 points,
2 points games already, and he's looked good. He's got great chemistry with Stone and Howden, but you don't want Brett Howden being a third line center in a team like this, right?
I was about to say, I think perhaps the genius strategy that we were lauding of counting on Keegan Kolesar and Brett Howden to outscore their previous career highs for the whole year. Maybe that was a flawed strategy.
Yeah, I mean,
they've definitely that's talk shit. They're having great years,
they're having great years. But here's the thing: is like Jack Eichel is great. He's without Jack Eichel is without criticism on this team because how good he is, how incredible he's been this season.
Mm-hmm.
I know Ivan Barbashev has been injured, but he's got to get back to scoring.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be at that same rate.
No,
because he was scoring at a crazy rate.
Yeah,
he just has to get back to contributing.
Yeah, contributing because he was like at a goal per game until he injured. It was insane, but he's just dried up completely. And then, we got to figure out what we're gonna do with that winger spot for up on the top line.
Yeah,
and then Dory's been great. Hurdle's been great. Olofsson might not be back after taking a puck up into the throat. Who knows what's going to happen there? He has to step back up. I'm not mad about Saad and Stone, but Stone's still scoring and still at a good pace.
Well, that's the thing. I'm like, we need to rely on someone besides Eichel, Hurdle, Stone, and Dorofiev.
Yeah, I mean, but that's good to have 4 guys that you could look to have a step up and do that. But like we said with like trades, we have to find a guy. I think at this point, if indeed Theodore is going in LTIR, we're gonna have
I don't know if you saw all the hockey analysts on Twitter. Shea Theodore's injury is going to take him right to the playoffs. What do you know? What do you think about that?
Wow, just a freak injury that happens, and like we planned on him breaking his wrist in a tournament game.
I like how every hockey fan in the world watched this man break his wrist on live TV, and everyone's first reaction is, "How does Vegas keep getting away with this?"
Yeah, because Kelly
this?
McCrimmon went out there and broke Shea Theodore's wrist to tell him to get on LTIR.
He whispered in his ear, "He's like Shea, he's like, put your palm on the glass."
Exactly.
Okay.
It's like he had a little earpiece, and he's like, make yourself in the most dangerous position possible to break your wrist. And then we need the money.
I'm going to pay the other guy $2 million to hit you at just the right moment.
We need your paltry LTIR value of $5 million.
That's what gets me.
It's not even that much money. Like,
I would say it's a good amount, but it's what the fuck is out there for that amount?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
What can we even buy? Like, I feel like people don't know everyone's like, well, Vegas is always up to some bullshit. And like, look at our fucking draft lot, our draft capital,
and look at our prospects. Like,
our biggest asset right now is like a second round pick,
and like fucking Alexander Holtz.
Yeah.
But I mean, what with Carlson on LTIR already, and then if they do put Shea Theodore on there, that's a big if. They haven't said if they're going to do it. Which they probably will. Kelly McCrimmon's an idiot if he doesn't. But
here's the thing.
It's like what, $10 million in LTIR pool, right?
Yeah, and I was gonna say they're only gonna do it if they have to.
Yeah, exactly. If he gets evaluated and he's like, he'll be back within a month. They're not gonna put him on LTIR.
Yeah.
Like if it's a long term, like I can't use my wrist for a month and then I have to heal and then I'm not back till then. Of course.
Yeah. Or to me, more realistically, if they look at the trade board, look at their assets, call around, and then say, we don't even need $10 million. We can get all the deals that we can make, we can do right now.
Keep in mind, we have $3 million in accrued cap space, less the LTIR money. And then with the LTIR money of just William Karlsson, it's like, what, about 8 with that space? You could effectively, given what you could trade around, you could get 2 to 3 guys out of that.
Yeah, exactly.
With retention, trading prospects, whatever. Like, we don't have to make. We were texting about this last night. We don't have to make a big ass splash move. Like,
yeah,
I
don't think that was ever the plan this
year.
No,
you want addition by volume, not by one guy's going to change this. You want to bring in we've done aside from the Jack Eichel trade. That's the only time we've done this. we brought in 2 guys last year. Aside from the Jack Eichel trade, which was a blockbuster, every trade deadline, it's been you get a group of underperformers or guys you think you can make work from another team. Like, Tomas Hertl, it was injured, picked him up. Noah Hannafin, he was a trade piece. I know Anthony Mantha didn't work out last year, but Barbashev and what's his name? He plays for Vancouver now. Teddy Bluger.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think people always forget, like, the year that we won the cup, it's like, yeah, well, Mark Stone, LTIR. I'm like, oh yeah, we had to put Mark Stone on LTIR so we could acquire fucking Teddy Bluger and Ivan Barbashev.
Yeah,
he was a 4th line grinder at the time.
At the time, he was playing 4th line in St. Louis. Nobody thought he had. Well, not nobody thought. It's clearly Kelly McCrimmon and our pro scouts.
Yeah.
Knew what was in this player.
Don't forget Jonathan Quick for
exactly
double retained. So
yeah, exactly.
we had Jonathan Quick riding the pine in the finals.
I think that was more Jonathan Quick going, I will never play a game for the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yeah, well, exactly. And we're like, hey, well, we need a goalie, so
yeah, exactly. But yeah, we've never, outside of the Eichel trade, and that was in the offseason, never made a massive splash trade at the trade deadline. I don't think they will, because what's out there. Sidney Crosby, that everybody likes to say he's staying in Pittsburgh. He's never leaving Pittsburgh.
He has never once even implied that he knows, he knows they're not going to win, but the guy's been wearing the same fucking shoulder pad since juniors. Like,
yeah, come on.
He likes things the way they are.
He likes Pittsburgh. He's not going to leave.
He takes shit seriously. He's going to go down with that ship, and what? I know we all want to see him in the playoffs again. That's why this Four Nation thing has been so
that's
fucking
a good
awesome.
Point. Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, well, if he wants to do it, fucking just leave him be.
Yeah, exactly. And like we've talked about before, there's smaller trade pieces. There's recently Jared McCann has come up as a piece, which I would love Jared McCann.
That would be a great ad.
Jordan Eberle he's coming back. He's doing a conditioning stint in Coachella. That's a great piece. Brandon Tanev is a great piece. There's a lot of mid-level options that are out there that there will be a bidding war. You sent me today that there's a rumor that us and the Oilers are in for JG Pageau. I'm like, well, yeah, they can have him. I don't want JG Pageau. Nothing against the guy, but he doesn't move the needle in any sense of the word.
No, exactly.
And then again, maybe he might not being on a fucking weird Islanders defensive structure team. Like, who knows? Maybe. Like Hal Palmieri was scoring at ridiculous rates on the Devils, and then he went to the Islanders.
Didn't Pageau get waived earlier in the year, or is that someone else from the Islanders?
He may have too. Him, and then also the one that came from the Leafs that Lou paid way too much money.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Pierre Engvall.
Yeah.
But he's on the team. He's back on the team. But the Islanders are in a playoff position right now, or fighting for a wild card, which is kind of insane. I don't think they're going to sell Brock Nelson. Like,
why would they?
He's playing well. He's their best player right now.
Exactly. Everyone's like, Brock Nelson is at the top of everyone's trade board. And I'm like, what indication have you gotten that they would even do that?
They're gonna trade their number 1 center, maybe number 2 center.
Yeah.
Why?
And this is at 3 weeks after they added 3 defensemen.
Yeah.
Well, they're obviously not throwing the towel in.
And then everybody talking about Noah Dobson getting traded. I'm like, they're not trading Noah Dobson.
Yeah.
He's injured, but why would they trade one of the better young offensive defensemen just because you don't like his defensive game this year? Get over it.
Yeah, and I think Friedman even kind of clarified. He's like, yeah, Dobson's name has been out there in reports. He's like,
yeah.
But honestly, he's like, I don't think it's not that they're shopping them. He's like, I think there was one particular proposal that they received, and obviously they didn't go through with it.
Yeah,
so,
totally.
Again, there's no indication that no Dobson's
available. You know how valuable a young, really good offensive defenseman that's got, just good tangibilities on the offensive side. Maybe he's not great on the defensive side, but a good player like that can be right now. You're looking at the advent of the offensive defenseman and then becoming a better defenseman, like Quinn Hughes.
Yeah.
Brock Faber.
Yeah.
Shea Theodore. They started off as a single dimension player and then grew into something else.
That everyone needs puck movers.
Yeah.
That was Vancouver's problem. We're gonna have all these big bastards on the back, these big slow bastards. I'm like, well, after a while,
and Quinn Hughes.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, well, that's great and all, but after a while, like, you need someone has to
move the puck.
Someone has to get the puck to the forwards.
Like, what happens when Quinn isn't on the ice? You got fucking big dumb Tyler Myers out there.
Oh, that's exactly what was happening. It was,
fucking Vinny DiHernay.
Kid would play 25 minutes, and then every other minute that he wasn't on the ice, they were fucking getting caved in.
Yeah, exactly. And but like, there's not, there's big names right out there that could be traded. Would they be? I don't think so. Sidney Crosby's not going anywhere. Everybody's now talking about that if the Canes can't re-sign Rantanen, that they're going to trade him again. That's not going to happen.
No.
They're going to hold on to him in the offseason. If he doesn't get them anywhere in the offseason, guess what? Mikko's going to walk somewhere and get paid.
Yep.
There you go. It's the end of the story.
Well, his price is lowering by the day.
Exactly, because he hasn't been playing that well. And again, it's on a new team and a new system. He'll figure it out. Mikko Rantanen's easily top 10 player in the league, without a doubt. But like,
can I tell you the one that the big splash that does intrigue me?
Mm-hmm.
Brad Marchand.
Yeah, we talked about that. That was a rumor going around that we've been sniffing around on Marchand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people like, well, why would we want him on a team? You don't understand the value. A guy like, he may be older, he may not be scoring at what he's doing. You don't understand the value a fucking piece of shit rat that brings to a team. Look at Team USA now. We are halfway filled to the brim with rats. We've got both Kachucks. We've got Vinny Trocheck. We've got JT Miller, Brock Nelson. We've got a bunch of shitheads on this team.
Yep.
And they were fucking, like, within the first minute of the game against fucking Finland, Brady Tkachuk was down there fucking starting shit in front of the net. And you want to see that. We don't have a rat. We really don't. We have Keegan Kolesar, but he's not a rat.
He's physical.
He's physical. Brett Howden's a bit of a rat, but he's more physical than a rat. You don't like a team needs a rat like that. I think that's why.
Well,
look at Marshy. Marshy was kind of our rat for a little bit because he was a small guy. But Brad Marchand, as much as like, why would we want him? He's old. He's this. I'm like, there's value to a guy like this. He can score. The man can score. We've seen it. Well, he brings scoring touch, but he's a shithead.
I was going to say, like, it, and because it's not just that he's a shithead. He's a high end elite talent. Shithead.
He has a ton of talent, and he's very good at hockey. You're telling me that you wouldn't want a guy like that in a playoff series against Edmonton, just fucking stirring shit with McDavid?
No, for real.
And with Leon Draisaitl, how bad their fucking anger, how their anger gets when they're antagonized.
I said, how many times would they spear each other in the nuts?
Yeah. I mean,
that whole series would just be Draisaitl and Marchand just fucking beanbagging each other.
Yeah, look what the Panthers did to. I know it went to 7 games, but look what the Panthers did to both of those guys in the final.
Oh yeah,
like McDavid. What did he? I think he barely scored in that. Both of them like didn't do too well, but they were stirring shit. You need shit stirrers on teams.
Oh yeah.
Look, the Jets. They got Scheifele. Like, everybody's got a shit like an elite level like that. I wouldn't. You're telling me you don't want fucking Brad Marchand? Absolutely. You hate a guy like I said. You hate a guy like that until he's on your team. Once he's on your team, you love him.
Yeah.
Like,
he would be hugely effective, and I think one thing that was pointed out is the best years of his career were under Bruce Cassidy.
I saw that.
And Cassidy mentioned a few times that they have a good relationship.
You don't think Bruce and Mark and Aiden Hill aren't in his ear right now at 48? It's like, hey, Vegas is pretty nice. Hey, Brad, I know you're.
Did I tell you that they wash your car at the practice?
Yeah. Hey, I know you don't. You got your fiance, no kids. They got a lot of cool nightlife for you and your wife, and you can go do whatever you want. Like, they love you there.
I think they're supposed I think it was either now in Montreal or I think right the first game in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh yeah, it's gonna dump like fucking 3 feet of snow.
Exactly. You want the temperature in Vegas is when it's dumping 3 feet of snow? It's fucking 75 degrees out.
I was saying, I'm wearing shorts right now.
I almost wore shorts here, knowing that we're gonna go watch the game. I was like, I'm gonna put pants on in case it gets chilly at night.
It will get chilly at night. But yeah, it's a beautiful breezy day.
And you know what the best part is? You don't have shithead fans that fucking scream at you because you did something wrong. Everybody loves you here. Like, I would love Brad Marchand as much as people don't like the idea. I would love to have a guy like that in the team. And how much? He's not getting paid a lot, right?
He's only making like 6.5, I think.
Oh, that's like easy. You could even take that 50% retained on yourself. Give him back again, Boston needs fucking young guys. Give them back fucking Alexander Holtz or Brendan Brisson and a second or a third. Easy peasy. Like, yeah, I hate when hockey fans, like, they know the player and they immediately hear his name, like, in your team, like this. Hear his name and your team's possible trade deadlines. They're like, he's such a piece of shit. Yeah.
Like, yeah, he is.
Yeah. I would love...
Imagine if he was on our side.
Yeah. And he's a piece of shit on the ice, but you see interviews with him, he's like a fucking sweetheart.
Yeah.
Like, off the ice, he's just a good person. He's just dickhead on the ice.
Did you see that sketch with him during the Four Nations?
Oh, yeah, the Taylor Swift, like, interview, or...
It was... I forgot. I think this guy does videos like this, but
yeah.
Basically he was... He was like a coach and an assistant coach, and they were like grilling him about something, and he was just sitting there awkwardly, and like I'm pretty sure it was all improv, like he didn't know what was going on when he went in, but like that shit cracked me up. They're like all right, we're taking a headshot, smile, and he's like, oh, he like smiles, like I said smile, and he like gives like a big awkward like. That was funny.
No, yeah, it's you want guys like that on your team, and like they're he's a winner
Of all the big fish that may or may not be available, that's the only one I'd be really interested in.
Would you love to have Sidney Crosby on your team? Sure. Would it take a fucking king's ransom to get on your team? Yes. Would you love to? Would somehow that the Canes sour on Mikko Rantanen and you get Mikko Rantanen back? We don't have the fucking value to send him back. We sure as shit don't have the fucking cap space in the next couple of years.
Well, and that's the thing too that I kind of want to bring up with the current state of the draft cupboard. I feel like if we do make a big move, we're going to have to give up a pretty good roster player. Like, I feel like as fans, fans, like it's easy to say like, oh, it's easy. Holtz in a second, every trade. Holtz in a second. Holtz in a second.
Yeah, you're right.
A lot of these teams aren't going to want Holtz because he hasn't done anything.
That's why I think we should go for the middle six, the easier things to pull off. Because like you said, if you go for a big fish, you're going to have to send back a guy like Noah Hannafin. Or a guy like you'd have to send back.
Because the only two I was like who are two players
that move the needle? You didn't send back Ivan Barbashev. Like
I was like who are two guys on our roster that Boston would want? My first thoughts were either Noah Hannafin or William Karlsson.
Yeah,
and I'm like, do we really want to part with either of those?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Like as much as maligned as a season that Hannafin's had this year, he's still very valuable, and we've seen this with
he's playing for Team USA tonight.
Yeah, we've seen this with a new player in a new system. Like it takes time. Like this is his first year in a Bruce Cassidy system. He's gonna get used to it. Alex Pietrangelo wasn't that elite his first season in in DeBoer's system, and look how well Jack Eichel's doing after being in the system for a couple of years. Mm-hmm. It takes a little bit of time to get used to everything you're doing. And you're right. Like if you want to pull off a big trade, and if it's a team as delusional as Boston that thinks they're one or two pieces away from even getting into the playoffs, they would want a big a roster player back. Like you said, unfortunately, that's William Karlsson, Noah Hannafin, Ivan Barbashev. Guys that are important to this team. That's why I think we'd probably be better off pulling off a trade with like Seattle, or Buffalo. Give them young guys to build the cupboard for them.
Exactly, and that's another reason why I've paid more attention to those rumors. Because there have been two or three teams in the league that have kind of signaled that. I feel like this is kind of becoming the fashionable thing to do. They're like, we don't want prospects or picks per se. We want young players that are NHL ready, right on that borderline from prospect to NHL regular. So to me, I'm like, that's when we could find value in giving them a guy like Holtz or Brisson.
Yeah, guys that are like young guys. I
was even thinking like Korzak, and then I was like, well, we're gonna need him now.
Yeah,
so.
But then again, Korzak, he's very valuable with how young he is and how good he was when he came in. Like you said, you want to give that up, but you still have Ben Hutton, who's an extremely serviceable bottom pairing defenseman. You still have a guy like Dyson Mayo, who's played up and down multiple lineups in multiple teams. Shit, there's guys in the Silver Knights that are playing out of their goddamn minds right now. Mm-hmm. Caitlin Addison is electric.
Yeah.
With the Silver Knights right now. Lucas Johansson's been so good. Artur Cholak, something I didn't talk about last week, has come up from the ECHL. He was leading the team in points for a defenseman. He was like a top 10 scorer for defense in the ECHL. He's playing pretty well with the Silver Knights right now. So you've got a lot of defense in the cupboard. It's just, what are you willing to part with, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, we're more willing to part with like Holtz or obviously Brendan Brisson.
I was going to say, I just try to keep that in mind because, like I said, as fans, every fan falls into the same trap of like, we're going to give them our worst player and a middle draft pick, and that's going to be enough to get whatever we want from anyone.
No, absolutely. Like, it's a, when it comes to things like this,
like,
it's a buyer's market.
Yeah, because I'm
not
like,
a buyer. I'm sorry, seller's market.
Exactly, because I'm like, is Holtz in a second going to get you Brad Marchand? Probably not. Will Holtz in a second get you Brandon Tanev? Probably.
Probably.
You know,
I
get you fucking. Well, not that I want him, but JG Pajot. You know,
probably. Yeah,
exactly.
Like, you have to scale that up. Like a value for Brad Marchand, like you said, for Boston would probably be a roster player, a pick, and a prospect or a young guy. So it'd be like, you know, like you said, Carlson or Hannafin or Barbashev or a player like that. That's a good player that they can plug in right now, and then Holtz or Brisson, and then a second round pick.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to have Brad Marchand on this team. Do I think it happens unless Boston's just like, we're gonna fucking sell you this man for nothing?
a lot of things would have to happen. One, we'd have to assemble a package that they would accept.
Mm-hmm.
They would have to want to even move on from him in the first place, which I'm not sure they do.
Yeah.
And then
he's a free agent, right?
At the end of this year, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if he has trade protection, but I think whether he does or not, they would make sure that he wants to.
Wherever he goes.
If he says like, "No, I'm staying," I don't think they're going to move him.
It's not like a Jacob Trouba situation, or like, bitch, you're going to Anaheim. Wave it now.
We know you're the captain, but get the fuck out.
Go to the other side of the country, motherfucker. Yeah, I mean,
if you want to go down to Rochester, you better fucking get the fuck out.
And we talk about these players while we're, you know, getting really excited for Canada versus USA tonight.
Yeah, I was gonna say, should we switch back into Four Nations talk?
Yeah, let's switch back into it. Like,
so before we get too far into it, high level stuff, you know, the aesthetics, jersey videos auto playing in the background.
Yeah.
Jerseys, rank them 1 through 4.
Sweden.
It's 1.
Number 1. Number 2 is Canada. I put US at 3, Finland at 4. Just because for Finland, I love their crest so much.
I love it.
It's so tiny. On their Olympic jerseys from last Winter Olympics, they blew that thing up and it was like navy and it looks so cool. And I'm like, why didn't you guys do that again? Your crest is so little tiny. Like it looks kind of stupid.
I love their crest because it looks like a medieval.
It does, yeah. And
flag.
Use it.
Yeah, exactly. I do like the coloring on that.
Oh yeah, the navy and the blue. Yeah.
So I'll get my ranking in a second, but one thing I love about all these is, and I don't know if this is the direction all Fanatics jerseys are going to move into, but all the little hidden details.
Yeah.
All the embossed and indented stuff. Like Canada has the maple vines embossed on the sleeve, I think.
The
USA has the E Plurius Unum stamped on.
Yeah. And then Sweden's like all the stitching is like
the crowns. The texture is and the color is gorgeous.
Yeah, and then the name's the same way on the back. Like it's all so nice. I love Sweden's the most. Like I told my wife if Carlson was playing, I was gonna buy a Sweden Carlson jersey.
Hell yeah.
Like unfortunately he's not, but if he was, I wouldn't have bought the USA. I have no ties to Sweden. I would have bought that Willem Carlson Swedish jersey. It's just such a nice jersey. What's your ranking?
So I would do Canada 1. I think that's the best Team Canada jersey I've ever seen.
It's very good. Very nice jersey.
Just like the detail. I'm big on details with jerseys, like the stitching and shit. Like that's what I always
look at. Like it's being showed right now. It's so cool.
Yeah, the maple vines embossed in there. Even the embossed. One of the stripes is embossed. I think.
And I like that it's like not a white, it's like a cream.
Yeah, the red and cream. I love it. So Canada's 1 for me. Sweden 2. Those are the best
easily.
by far.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, the crowns on the Sweden one are just gorgeous. The sheer amount of detail is, I love it.
Yep.
And then I think I'm going Finland 3 and USA 4.
Yeah,
I really don't like the USA
It's just
jerseys.
so boring.
It's so boring. Like I was looking at all the gear online, and I'm like, this looks like something you'd buy at fucking Walmart.
Yeah.
It's just blue and it says USA and that's it.
Yeah.
Like,
the
only detail I like is the E pluribus unum stamped on.
The world, why did you just reuse the World Juniors jerseys?
I really like that USA Hockey Shield logo.
Yeah.
To me, like, I can't like give like an actual design right now in my head, but aesthetically, the elements that they should have borrowed from is like that kind of like 40s Americana.
Yeah.
You know, like, I hate to say it, but like that like Captain America 1 vibe, you know, like they should have done something like that. Do something with the shield. Do something, you know, with the colors that make it feel old school like that.
Yeah, like do like play on the Miracle on Ice.
Harken back to a better time, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Don't look like something my fucking racist uncle would buy at Walmart and wear to a barbecue.
Yeah, it's just so plain. Like again, like reminds
my uncles are racist, by the way. That was just a joke.
What it reminded me really of like is like what Old Navy used to be.
Yeah.
Before they started making, you know, actual cool clothes, like, you know, that's just like the ugly ass like shit you'd see at a 4th of July barbecue in like Alabama.
Yeah, exactly. And like even the font of the USA, I'm like, it's ugly.
It's ugly. Yeah.
It's just blocky and like.
I only put Finland below it because I really love that crest. And
I love that.
The crest should have been bigger, but I get it. Like it's just
I
USA.
The flower detail
awesome.
and the blue stripe, to me, that's that. And the crest was just a little bigger.
Yeah, I saw.
It is a gorgeous crest.
Yeah, I went to obviously. I'm not wearing any USA gear right now. I went to the sports store in downtown Summerlin. All they had were jerseys, and I saw it in person. I'm like, that's not worth any amount of the money I would pay for that.
Exactly. And I'm so fucking butthurt right now.
I would have bought a jacket.
I bought Empty Netters. They did a Team USA shirt. It's awesome. It's black
Free
shirt.
Bird,
has Austin Matthews and Jack Eichel, and I forgot who else on the front with like red and blue shading, and then it just says Free Bird on it, and I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, and it didn't make it here in time.
Well, it on the website it said 3 business days, and I ordered it on Monday, and I'm like, sweet, this will definitely be here by Saturday.
Yep.
Because that's more than 3 business days. Yeah. And then I checked and like, oh yeah, it'll get there. Should get there February 18th. So I'm like, okay, well if we make it to the championship game, I can wear it for the championship game.
Exactly.
And I guess I'll just save it for the Olympics.
But you know, leading into that, I mean, there's been from there, there's been 3 games so far, right?
Yes, we're recording. As we mentioned, we're recording this on Saturday.
It's before the USA Canada game.
Yeah, Sweden Finland wrapped up an hour or 2 ago.
That ended with Finland in overtime, 4-3. Canada beat Sweden in overtime, 4-3.
Yeah, and we talked about it already, but I'll just reiterate that game was fucking awesome.
Yeah, and then it looked tight with
like
Finland.
It was like the best game that
it was incredible.
Has seen in like a long time.
It felt like a legitimate like Stanley Cup playoff game.
And it's funny because, not to sidetrack too much, I'll make it quick, but you know, I listen to a lot of hockey podcasts, as you might imagine, as I'm sitting at my desk at work in misery for 8 hours a day. And I don't want to name names, but, you know, like The Athletic podcast and like Puck Soup and like a lot of these podcasts that are, you know, written by like, you know, actual hockey journalists and beat writers. And, you know, whatever. I don't know what it is, but there's this personality type that they all have where they're all just very sarcastic and very just roll their eyes, and you know their favorite subject is how the NHL is the worst league and how bad it is, and anytime something fun happens, they're just dripping in sarcasm, like, oh hey, did you see Will Ferrell was at the game? Wow, yeah, that's worth sharing for the millionth time. I'm like,
it is, 'cause it's fun. You're showing
exactly. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like
the amount of shit you see for like NBA, or like, look at this celebrities at the NBA game. You need fucking celebrity celebrity engagement for hockey. You know how many times I know and I've been told that Chloe, what's her name?
Grace Moritz.
Chloe Grace Moretz is like a huge Rangers fan, a fucking
Islanders
lot,
fan.
or Islanders fan. Oh,
when we played the Rangers, Sydney Sweeney was in the audience watching us get our fucking ass beat. So.
Yeah, and you know how many times I found out that Margot Robbie's also a huge Rangers fan.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. It's a lot, but you need fucking engagement.
Yeah,
I want engagement for hockey. Get over it. And you know what the best thing for engagement is? It's fucking this tournaments like this. It's not the All-Star game. They had record amount of viewers in every single game.
Yeah. In
both Canada and the U.S. The most watched games since Game 7 of the fucking Stanley Cup last year.
Yeah. So so leading up to Game 1 that day at work, I was already thinking, I was like, okay.
I was so excited.
I get off at 4:30. I'm not going to dilly daddle in the parking lot. I'm just going straight to my car.
Yeah.
Straight home. Maybe I'll miss, puck drop it,
Sure.
I was hyped. And this is for Canada, Sweden. It's not even for
the
US.
USA. Yeah.
And like I said, as every podcast, I guess because they felt obliged to, clearly not because they wanted to, they were all doing their final Four Nations preview. And every fucking one, man, they were just like, oh, yeah, well, I mean, this is just this phony tournament. It's phony. Like, who cares? Like, do you guys really think the players care? They're not going to care. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, maybe a little. Yeah,
they cared.
They cared.
Holy shit.
We saw. They cared.
Game 1, they fucking cared. Like,
yeah, Brady Tkachuk said that tonight's game. He's like, this is going to be the biggest game of my career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This kid has.
They're not going to care, though, Alex.
Brady hasn't been to the playoffs. This is effectively the biggest game of his entire career on a massive stage. As much as we talk shit about Canadian fans and the Canadians, that arena was fucking electric.
Yeah.
Dude,
the fact that, like, in overtime, like, when fucking Crosby hit the ice, they all just start chanting his name. Like,
yeah.
I was like, oh, fuck, it's happening.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's going to do some Crosby shit to end this game.
Yeah.
And then...
the fact that it was Mitch Marner that finished it.
Exactly. And then sure enough, sick pass, Mitch Marner fucking wires it.
Yeah.
It was
the
insane.
game with that, I watched previews because I was at the Silver Knights game, but I watched reviews of it and watched highlights. It was everybody had such a fun time, and then to follow it up the next night with Finland USA, and again everybody was ready to go. Tight game. The USA was not playing a very good game for the first couple periods.
Yeah, the first 2 periods it was a slog,
and then I don't know what fucking happened. I don't know if Bill Guerin came down from the perch and he threatened these men's lives or futures.
He's like, you be proud of your fucking country.
Yeah, he threatened their futures of like playing on a team. Good God.
Well, I'll give Mike Sullivan credit. Even though I think it was tied at that point, or maybe
it was 1-1. I think.
Yeah, maybe we had gone up 1, but it felt close.
Or even 2-1. Could have been 2-1. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 2-1. But it still felt too close for comfort.
Yep.
He jumbled the lines. He bumped Kyle Connor down, and
Kyle Connor wasn't playing that well.
He really wasn't, and it was
weird.
It's a shame because I was so excited for that Connor Eichel Matthew Tkachuk.
It just wasn't working with Connor.
Yeah, in theory, that's like the most complete hockey line I've ever seen.
Right. And then you put Brady Tkachuk up there, and then all of a sudden it's fucking
because
nightmare on Elm.
Well, it is funny because one sign that I knew fans were going to be excited was when the practices started happening and the lines went up on social media and this phony, stupid, fake tournament that no one cares about. Suddenly, all people could talk about was, oh my God, look at that power play unit. Look at these lines, holy shit. But I saw a lot of comments like, why wouldn't you put the Tkachuk brothers together? And in my mind, I was like, well, they play the same type of game. You don't need 2 of them on one line, just spread it out. After they put them together with Eichel, I was like, holy shit, stick with that.
Yeah. And then Matthews was playing so well with Hughes and Gensel. Yeah. Like, him and Hughes were just feeding off each other the entire time.
Yeah, they had great chemistry.
I think, and then, it was tight, and the Finns play a complete game. Like, the Finns play a team defense-oriented game. Their forwards are very good.
As depleted as they are, how do you like that, what was his name, Matt Puck or something?
Matt and
Paulo.
He looked pretty good.
Yeah. Kids barely played in the NHL.
He played like 10 games for Ottawa, but he looked pretty fucking good on a national stage against the number 1, if not number 2 favorite for this tournament and for fucking the Olympics going forward. He looked pretty good.
Yeah, and I didn't check the box score for today, but hey, they beat the Swedes.
And then Henry Jokiharju had that nice ass shot. against Hellebuck.
That is one thing.
That was a
bad goal.
That was a bad goal. Hellebuck should have had that first of all.
So I think we can say, okay, it was the only one that went in, but that was a bad goal. My first thought was like,
uh-oh, it's happening again.
I was having flashbacks to...
You felt like a Winnipeg fan?
Exactly.
You're like, is this how the Jets feel every fucking year?
Yeah, I just had the image of fucking Lurch and fucking Twin Peaks. It is happening again.
Yeah, but then he cleaned up the rest of that game, looked really, really good. He ended up having a really good game, and because the Finns were shooting, they were like they weren't afraid, and it was a very different game than the game with Sweden and Canada, where like they were both still filling each other out, and it was like low shots. I think they both ended up with less than 20 shots in the game.
I think it's because they were both like,
are we going?
So this game is gonna decide who might miss out.
Yeah,
so.
and then and then the U.S. and Finland, I think we ended up having like 30 shots, and they had like 20 something. So it was very different game, and the Finns played well for what they, like you said, they were depleted defensively. They were missing Heiskanen and Ristolainen.
And someone else too.
Oh, it's Jani Hakanpää.
Yeah,
he's not going to play hockey again. And
there's only like 11 Finnish defensemen in the NHL.
There's only 50 Finnish players in the NHL.
Yeah, they don't have
and most of them are on the team.
Yeah, they don't have a deep pool.
And they played well, and then the third period was just a bloodbath. Like once the gate was open, those Kachucks just fucking. They both had 2 goals.
Yeah.
Gensel scored 2.
I forgot to send it to the group chat, but did you see that picture? The third period when someone tweeted out like, "Oh, switched up the lines. The Kachuk brothers are together with Jack Eichel."
Yeah,
and someone posted a fucking screenshot from Step Brothers where it was the dad and then the 2 brothers at the table, and they're both like crying and making ugly faces, and the dad's like smiling. I was like, I don't know why, but it just felt perfect.
Yeah, no, I love that line now that they've put that together, because clearly I guess Brady and Matthew just fucking feed off each other. So
yeah,
and then putting him in between Eichel, who's obviously an elite playmaker and lead at everything, and there was immediate chemistry because Eichel just literally just gave a nice saucer pass to Brady, and Brady's like, okay, I'll tuck that in. And I think it's good for it. Brady Kachuk's always been like, is he actually that good? Is he worth that much money? This is a stage to prove it on.
Exactly.
And he did it pretty goddamn well. And if he can do it against Canada again, you're just furthering your value to the Ottawa Senators. But what I am worried about with at least Team USA is, I'm not saying that these guys aren't good, but what's the bottom 6 going to look like against Canada? Because, obviously it's Kachuk, Eichel, Kachuk, Gensel, Matthews, Hughes. Gensel, Matthews, Hughes was just up and down, fucking victimizing Finland. They didn't connect. They didn't
connect, but I think they were hitting posts.
Oh yeah, they were just absolutely victimizing whatever they were against Finland. It was not even close. But then now you kind of have to rejumble that third line. I think if you're playing Canada, you put Chris Kreider in.
Yeah, I could see that. I think the third line, I'm guessing Connor will be there.
Well, Boldy scored 2, and Boldy had a good game.
Boldy looked good. I think that third line I would do Kreider, or I would do Connor, Miller,
and Boldy.
And then that fourth line,
I would do Kreider, Nelson, and who are we missing? Trocheck and somebody else.
Either Dylan Larkin or Brock Nelson.
Oh, yeah. Put Dylan Larkin. Yeah. No. You know what? Here's an idea.
I would keep Larkin in, and I would have him on right wing.
No, I would do. Here's this.
We're gonna need speed.
Do this. Connor, Larkin, Boldy, and then Kreider, Miller, Nelson.
Kreider, Miller. That would be a hard line to play against.
Big line, and they're also pretty fast.
Yeah.
I as much, it's like you're talking about superstars, right? Vinny Trocheck didn't do anything for me against Team Finland.
I thought that fourth line had some good shifts.
Yeah. I think JT Miller needs to play a little bit better too.
Yeah.
And Kyle Connor needs to figure something. Like, he just didn't have it. There's a reason why he got bumped down pretty far.
Yeah.
Again, Kyle Connor is an elite hockey player, but just wasn't jiving with some of those players. And then I would assume defense is the same, like unless they put Jake Sanderson in, which who knows, wouldn't matter. But I think.
Sorry, I was looking
see if there's any lineups.
Exactly, I was looking at Twitter. I'm like, did someone post anything? I don't think they did.
I would assume it's like the same guys.
Yeah, because I don't think they practiced yesterday.
Yeah.
And then pregame skate won't be for another 2 hours. So.
Yeah.
And I doubt they had a morning skate because Finland and Sweden were playing.
Yeah. But yeah, you've got options. I do think Canada's top end forwards are better, but the U.S. can be deeper than, as like a whole, right?
See, and that's the thing. That's my worry. I think we're kind of conditioned to look at it through the lens of like a 7-game series.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think we would win in a 7-game series, but one
game, it's hard. It's gonna be hard.
It's gonna be hard to not have McKinnon and McDavid and Crosby just take it over.
Yeah, they have what I would say top 5 in the league right now is McDavid, McKinnon, Draisaitl. I'm a homer, but Jack Eichel.
Yeah.
And Nikita Kucherov, and Team Canada's got 2 of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got Sidney Crosby and Mitch Marner and elite Cale Makar, Devin Taves. Then again, that defense might get shaky, right? With Travis Sanheim and even in I was rewatching that game, the game against Sweden, and Colton Parayko was kind of getting caved in.
Yeah,
Josh Morrissey was like struggling for his life, and Colton Parayko was getting fucking victimized.
Yeah, I felt bad because I was being like a Parayko truther. I'm like, no, you guys don't know how good he is.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what a lot of people were talking about. Like Colton Parayko is going to show up and be good, but Team Sweden, ugh.
Yeah, you know what? I think it really. What I think it's really going to come down to Canada is they asked Matthew Tkachuk, like, "Oh, did you watch that game?" He's like, "Oh, of course I watched it."
Yeah.
Like, what'd you think, or what was your takeaway? And he said, "What I learned is that when you play Canada, you have to survive the first 10 minutes."
It's a lot much like an Edmonton Oilers game.
I was literally about to say, like, it's kind of like playing the Oilers. Like
you survive the force of the blow first, and then you push back.
Because if you buckle, they will fucking rack up the score on you.
I mean, look,
they'll end the game in 10 minutes.
Both you and I thought that Sweden was going to get caved in that game, and you know what?
Oh, that first period was.
They were getting destroyed, but you know what? They buckled down and came back and pushed back, and they looked good doing it.
Yeah.
And
by the way, did you get a chance to watch the overtime?
I replayed the overtime. It was fucking insane.
Yeah.
Joel Eriksson Ek had puck possession for like the first fucking 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And Sweden was looking incredible, and then it was just one little breakdown.
Yeah, it was like there
and it wasn't even that much of a breakdown. They had Sweden had both guys coming back to the play. It was just a window.
To me, there was a point where it started going more Canada's way, and I was like, yeah, this 3-on-3, like Sweden just doesn't have the horses.
No, they don't have the
keep
speed.
It up,
No. Because you with Team Canada, every line you roll out into overtime, it's got a McDavid, it's got a McKinnon, it's got a Crosby, it's got a Marner, it's got somebody insane on that team. It's like it's just a fucking blow after blow after blow.
Did you see also after the post game they asked McKinnon, they're like, "Oh, what do you think about the 10-minute 3-on-3?" 'Cause a lot of people. A lot of people saying, "Oh, maybe we should do that for the NHL." He's like, "Well, I don't know about that." He's like, "I'm gassed," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, because you were out there the whole fucking 3-on-3, and you were not just out there, but you were
playing hard.
You were going back and forth the whole time."
Well, I mean, literally first minute, the first shift of overtime, it was fucking McKinnon, McDavid, Makar. Then John Cooper was like, "I'm doing it." Like, and then, again, like we're also not talking about guys on Team Canada like Braden Point. Or Seth Jarvis or Travis Konechny. Mm-hmm. Tonight they're putting in Sam Bennett.
Yeah,
they're putting Sam Bennett in. What it was Sam Bennett and Marchand in between somebody. I don't remember.
It was a prick line. Who's the other prick on that team?
It was it's centers McDavid and then Crosby. It's Bennett, somebody Marchand. Who's the center on that line? Is that Konechny? Konechny's a winger, right?
Yeah.
Was it Seth Jarvis?
I'm just gonna Google it
because Hagel and Sorelli are together. right? They put that together with Braden Point. Reinhardt's a winger. I'm forgetting somebody, and I'm gonna feel bad.
Oh, it was Jarvis.
Okay. Was Jarvis? Okay, and Jarvis can be a brick too, but like that, they put that together to combat clearly the Kachuk and Eichel group,
so
right?
The top 6 is the same. So Reinhardt, McDavid, Marner, Crosby, Mack, Mark Stone. Who deserves to be on the second line?
Oh, dude, Mark Stone looked great.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody's talking shit like, really a second line with those guys like that? Clearly, you don't watch enough Mark Stone hockey to know he was playing pretty well too.
Well, it was funny because when he scored, I'm like, well, of course, it's more about the Crosby assist than the Stone goal.
Yeah,
which is fine. It was a great pass.
The Crosby shot,
but
the Stone shot was pretty nasty.
That, and before Crosby's pass, the first pass in that play was Stone to Crosby in their zone. He retrieved the puck the way he always does. Found him, little seam, short little pass through. Not a lot of guys probably could have made.
Yep.
Then Crosby explodes to the neutral zone and then gets it back to Stone. But anyways, so yeah, Mark Stone deserves to be on that line. And then third line is the Lightning line.
Which I think...
Hagel, Sorelli, Point.
Which I think might be pretty good considering the familiarity.
I feel like
Point and Hagel have played together a lot.
I feel like Brandon Hagel is just one of those guys where like he just scores big goals and then people just kind of forget. You know? Like
people still talk about that Blackhawks trade. Like they gave up that much for Hagel. I'm like, do you watch Brandon Hagel play hockey? Like, are you fucking kidding me?
I said the real discussion is why the fuck did Chicago let go
give
of
him
Brandon
up
Hagel
for fucking like Boris Kachuk and
imagine Brandon Hagel on a line with Connor Bedard.
Yeah.
And then that fourth line is Marshawn Bennett, Jarvis.
That's gonna be a son of a bitch to play against. But again, I think we've got enough to combat that. And we say bottom 6, they're still fucking all-stars. But
yeah, it's really more like top fucking 12.
Yeah, all the whoever is spread out has got to step up, right? Like clearly you want it. Like clearly Team USA wants it. Look what they did to Team Finland. And they just didn't let off the gas. There was a moment there where I thought they were going to score 7 because they thought about it too, and they're like, I don't know about that.
And real quick on that note, man, R.I.P. Juicy Saros.
Oh yeah, that man got fucking crucified, and then he got crucified today.
He even played today.
Oh yeah, that's right. Kevin Lankinen got played. He's having a bad year.
As I say, there was a point in the beginning where it's like, well, he's doing good, the team's doing bad. No, now he's just doing bad, and he seemed like he just seemed depressed, and it seemed like he's like, well, at least I'm going to Four Nations. And
then he got first game. He had a first.
He gets fucking shelled, and then
he was making saves, but he was getting fucking lit up. And then the third period happened, and he just had nothing left, and he just...
Yeah, and then, like we said, today they went with Lankinen instead of Saros.
Yeah, Lankinen had a half-decent game, but they were both scoring. But, again, this is Team USA's goalie matchup to lose. Yeah. Like, they've got the best goaltenders, 1 through 3.
Connor Hellebuck, you son of a bitch. You better.
You bitch.
Don't do it. I swear to God. If,
I will.
If Canada, scores on the first shot or,
something stupid.
A bad angle shot from the wall or, something trickles out behind him. Oh, I'm just going to yank him. Put in Otter.
Put in Otter. Yeah, I mean, I was watching a couple videos where oh yeah, ranking goaltenders. I'm like, it's literally Team USA's goaltenders. Maybe not Jeremy. Maybe not Jeremy Swayman because he's been dog shit this year. I would go literally Otter, Hellebuck, Otter, Gus, Ullmark, and then Saros, and then Swayman because Swayman's been awful. And then Team Canada's goal. As much as I love Aiden Hill, I love you, Aiden. If you ever listen to this, I love you deeply, Aiden Hill. You're not. Neither is Jordan Bennington, and neither is sure as shit Sam Montembeau's not. You're not up to Connor Hellebuck and Jake Ottinger and all those guys ahead of you. It's Team USA's goaltending matchup to lose in these. And
true, but as we saw with that first Canada game, I think the whole. They have a pretty sound strategy to deal with that.
Yeah,
they're just like, we'll just have the puck the whole time.
Yeah, we'll swarm you. Yeah,
you doesn't matter. how good the goalie is because you're going to get like one shot this period.
Yeah, but Team
USA
we're
going to be playing in your end the whole time.
Yeah, but Team USA's, with Austin Matthews and with the Tkachuk and Eichel line, I mean, they're going to have some really good possession minutes too. I mean, the only other forward that had more minutes than Jack Eichel was Austin Matthews.
Yeah,
and that's because they're both on the power play, but they were really testing out that line with Jack Hughes and Jake Gensel. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's gonna be. I hope it's a very tightly played, electric game. And then again, I hope, as much as I have my own opinions of what's going on in the country right now, I will cheer for USA Sports.
Oh yeah,
100% of the time. That's the only thing I have national pride about.
No, for real.
The Olympics, stuff like this. You watch these people that are playing for the sport. You love it.
Also, real quick, it does look like Daily Faceoff has updated.
All right, let me
USA
hear it.
line, so it's the Step Brothers line. So
yeah,
the Chucks and Eichel, and then Gensel, Matthews, Hughes, and then JT Miller on the left, Dylan Larkin in the middle, Boldy on the right.
I like that.
And then Brock Nelson on the left, Vinny Trocheck in the middle, Kyle Connor on the right.
Kyle Connor's fallen that out of favor that he's on the fourth line.
Kind of crazy, but
I don't know. I don't know about Vinny Trocheck, man.
And then my whole thing is like, but then again, it's like, you're like, 'cause I feel like something I hear a lot is like, well, they have to change their roles and be like, well, yeah, you were the goal scorer on your team, but now you have to be a checking line. I'm like, no, there are no checking lines in this thing.
There are no checking lines in international hockey.
It's just 4 lines.
It's just you're rolling 4 scoring lines. Like, yeah, you want to play a role of, you want them to do what a hockey player does is go check and go hit. Mm-hmm. Yes, do that, but they're also not. That fourth line's not meant to fucking muck it up.
Yeah,
like especially when you have both Kachucks on a line with Eichel. You know what that first line's going to do? They're going to buck it up, and Jack Eichel's just going to be like in the background going, okay.
Yeah.
There's going to be some violence on the ice, and Jack's just going to be standing there like holding somebody while the Kachucks fucking beat the shit out of Sam Bennett.
Oh, God. I love it. Can't wait to see it.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be fun. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, this is the most fun outside of like... Because it's there's stakes to it, but there's not a lot of stakes, right? Mm-hmm. This is the most fun I've had with hockey in a long time.
Yeah,
because like we watch the goal nights, but you watch it with some stress, right? Because you're like, oh God, what's going to happen? Are they going to win?
Exactly.
Oh God, we got to do this. We got to do this.
Like, oh fuck, this.
Yeah.
Yeah. We look like shit. And what are we even going to do?
Even in the playoffs too, you're watching it on the edge of your seat with some stress.
Yeah, it's like the victories are blissful, but they're only so blissful because you just spent fucking 3 hours on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas this is it's so much fucking fun. Like yeah, it matters to these guys.
It's just like pure fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Like, yeah, we lose to Canada. Oh man, that sucks. Fucking shit. But I'm having a blast watching this. This is way more fun than any All-Star game ever. I know we went to an All-Star game. I'm having more fun watching this from home.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and then should we mention the Bettman confirmed that the new plan is...
doing shit like this?
It's going to be... This will be the only 4 nations, if that's because they're bringing the World Cup of Hockey back.
Yeah, so they're doing... It's 4 nations. Next year will be the Olympics. Mm-hmm. And then
I think it's an All-Star game, and then...
Like they'll just alternate. They'll just alternate this with the Olympics, right?
Yeah. So basically, it's just going to go, World Cup, All-Star Game, Olympics.
Cup,
All-Star Game,
I
Olympics.
Love. Yeah.
Which and I think like, hey, if we're only doing an All-Star Game every third year, that's good.
Yeah, it's good because you can only take so much of it. It's so fucking boring.
Yeah.
And there's no stakes to it, but you're playing.
It's only fun if you're there in person.
Yeah. I had fun in person because there's like so many things to do.
Exactly. You're just there for the festive atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh wow, look, it's Austin Matthews.
Yeah, but like, the Olympics next year is gonna be a ton of fun. That's gonna be amazing, I think.
Yeah, it's gonna be like this, but on crack.
On crack, and with 10 other teams.
I'm gonna have to be calling out of work because like, oh, sorry, it's in Italy. The game's at fucking 10 a.m.
Yeah,
I have to go get drunk and fucking paint my face like an American flag.
No, you know what? I'm gonna fucking fly to where is it in Torino?
Milan.
I'm just gonna get my passport and just like live in Milan for 2 weeks and watch hockey. And Victoria's like, we can't go to skiing. No, we're watching international, but it's Slovakia and Denmark. I don't care. Jonas Romberg's on this team.
Yeah. Like, hey, The Danes fought hard to be here. Okay.
No, I'm very excited for how they're retooling this. I mean,
yeah.
You say grow the game and make it more fun. This is making it more fun.
Yeah, and this is I don't give a shit what anyone said. That's another thing. So, that Canada game was so fucking electric. Yeah, it's been so fun, but again, going back to all these people that are, it's so stupid, this phony tournament, no one cares. This is such a gimmick. Like, give me a break. Well,
clearly the players are having a blast.
The players are extremely engaged, and also fucking, I don't know if you saw, it broke all these like viewership records.
Yeah,
like, you want people to watch these things. Well, guess what? They're doing it.
It's just games that even like in the country it's in, it's not the same country. Like U.S. is watching Sweden, Canada.
Yeah,
they're watching Finland, Sweden. It was the most, like in Canada was the most watched game since last Game 7, and there was like 1.5 million viewers in USA watching USA Finland.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was on a weekday, on a Wednesday Wednesday or Thursday, and now you're playing Canada on Saturday night, prime time. Oh man, and it's gonna be a blast. We're going over to Mojave to watch it. I'm gonna, who depends who there. I'm gonna see if we can get the sound on.
Yeah, I have a feeling it might be Tiffany or Michael.
Tiffany might say yes.
Yeah.
But
nothing against it. You guys are awesome if you're listening. But I'm like, man, I wish Tyler and Kyler were there. Wish the hockey boys BOI was there.
Tyler might. But no, it's gonna be so much fun. And like you said, in the future of this, you got the World Cup, you got the Olympics this next year, which will be obviously these 4 teams plus Germany, plus Denmark, plus Slovakia, plus the Czechs.
Yeah, and guess what, everyone? Russia ain't going to be there.
No.
So all these people that say the 4 nations is illegitimate because Russia's not there. Well, you can't say it's best on best. Well, get over it, motherfuckers.
Well, they might.
They're not here. They're not going to be in the World Cup. They're not going to be in the Olympics. Well, and guess what? They're still going to hand out a fucking gold medal at the end of it anyway.
Well, the Olympics, they might have, so like with the Summer and Winter Olympics, they do it's like I can't remember what it's called, but like international.
We're not Russia. We're just Russians playing under a different flag.
Like Russian Olympic Committee, and it's just like white with like a gold
Yeah,
they might do that, but then you've got actual like Russian sympathizers like Alex Ovechkin, the number 1 guy that would play for your team.
Yeah,
but then again, there's some guys that probably might not want to do you think Artemi Panarin's going to want to play for Team Russia?
I think they would, because I think it comes back to like in the U.S.
overall
now,
personal pride.
Canada now, people are like, oh, well, all these politically tense times. I'm like, guys just want to play
for the you want to play for the country as a sport. Yeah, I mean, but there is a ton of talent for Team Russia, like Pavel Dorofeyev.
Oh yeah, that was one thing I wanted to bring up. I'm like, so we're in agreement, right? That if there was a Team Russia, he would be on it.
Well, both him and Ivan Barbashev.
Yeah.
And not probably. Never I take the back. Ulysses Samsonov softball. I forgot how good Russian goaltending is.
Oh yeah, there's
Vasilevsky, Shesterkin, Sorokin.
Yeah, that's
it's a
right
ton. There's a lot of talent. They could even, if there's a team that it's too, in the World Cup of Hockey, they could do like a team Eastern Europe or something like that. There's not enough guys, but. This is just setting the stage for getting people way more excited about international hockey. International hockey is a ton of fun, especially when you have NHLers and this level of play. And now you're going to expand it. You're going to include Leon Draisaitl. You're going to include Moritz Seider. There's some good German players in the league. Tim Stützle.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Freddie Anderson's a great Danish player. You got fucking the Czechs. With
Pastrnak,
they won the World Championship last year.
Maybe we can get Team Slovenia in there. It could be
Anze Kopitar and a bunch of Slovenian lead.
Anze Kopitar, then literally no one else.
I think he's the only Slovenian player in the league.
I think there's been like 4 all time, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Jesus. And then the Danes. There's a lot of good hockey.
And again, that's another thing when people are like, well, the 4 it's so stupid. I'm like, guys, let's be real. Like,
what? How are you gonna?
Other than Russia, like, these teams are all gonna be pretty fucking thin. Like,
you're not making full. Like, they're so stupid that they could only include NHL players. I'm like, so an NHL event, you're gonna fly international players over, to multiple countries and
pay for their
insurance and their travel to have them play. No, it's not happening. That's why they set the rule. They're not going to bring some random fucking German guy. It was like the Olympics. It would end up being like the Olympics, Winter Olympics, 2 years ago? Or no, now 3 years ago, when Team Team China was just the Kunlun Red Star.
Yeah.
And there's fucking Americans playing for the Chinese national team. Like, give me a fucking break.
The Chinese national team opening lineup, fucking...
A bunch of white dudes.
John Smith.
Exactly. It's like, come on. Like, you're limited into what you have. Like I said, there is 50 Finnish players in the league, and more than half of them are on this team. So, where are we at? About hour 15. We got anything you want to talk about? It's been 2 weeks. You haven't been here. We haven't talked hockey in a while.
I know. Yeah, I listened to your solo episode, and I had to like resist the urge to like answer out loud. No, I mean, there's.
We covered a lot.
We covered a lot. There's some stuff that happened while I was gone that I would have had a strong opinion on, but time's kind of passing.
I mean, you don't have a strong opinion on how Mark Stone how he tried to permanently injure Miro Heiskanen.
Yeah, well, according to Ray Ferraro, he just, he might as well snapped his stick in half and try to stab him with the pointy end. Yeah, that was fucking stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it was
Dallas is quickly.
They're one of my hated teams. They've been that for a while.
Yeah, they've always been one of the more hated ones, but right now I think I'm at Edmonton 1, Dallas 2.
Yeah, me too. I mean, here's the deal. It's like
LA needs to get their shit together so we can start hating them more.
I know. I used to love hating LA. Now I'm like, you know what? I don't mind them.
Now I'm just like, who cares?
Yeah. It's getting to a point where it's like they talk all this shit. And, they fucking get up in arms when one of their players gets hurt or, like, it's an accident. And, they're not acknowledging that they have easily, verifiably, one of the dirtiest players in modern hockey on their team.
Yes, I remember when Jamie Benn
tried to decapitate Mark Stone.
Yeah, he's suspended for 3 games.
Yeah, when he's tried to injure multiple players, not Mark Stone, like he headhunts players. And, he's...
But, hey, man...
Mark Stone,
Ben, he's been here for so long. He's such a beloved vet.
Everyone
loves Chubbs.
Mark Stone, continued his check. Sure, maybe he could have said, "I could stop this."
Here's the thing.
But then again, it's Mark Stone. Mark Stone's fucking brain is go puck. I take puck.
Here's the thing. I do have an opinion on this. I do have something I wanted to say to whoever be listening. You watch that replay. And it's clear he obviously gets fucking tripped.
Oh,
he gets tripped.
It's flat stick from Rupehintz to skate.
Yeah, so all these delusional Dallas fans on fucking Twitter that are acting like he did, like we didn't even get. Yes, he did. He got fucking tripped.
Rupehintz stuck his stick out. You can watch it over and over again. That stick is flat on Mark's. He intended to trip Mark Stone.
Yeah, so it was a blatant trip. Stone, in my mind, was already already moving across to poke at the puck. He was already moving for that crossbody poke, which he's very good at.
Yeah.
He starts to go down, and if you look at it, you can tell he tries to keep himself right side up. Because unlike other teams, we don't flop for penalties.
Yeah.
These guys fight through it.
Yeah.
But regardless of all that, if you look at the game clock from the moment he trips to the moment that he makes contact with Heiskanen's knee, less than 1 second passes, and he's in the air with like his legs splayed out. So I'm like, what the fuck do you people? What could he have? What was he supposed to do?
Either he flops, or he goes into his knee. Then again, speaking of, they were playing it over and over again. Don't replay the trip though.
Yeah.
And he's also not diving at his knee either.
Exactly. His stick was only out because.
And he's got no balance on there. They conveniently don't replay that trip.
Well, that's because this guy. This is only popped up because it's on autoplay. But this guy is the biggest. His stick. He was going for the puck. His body only went that way because he tripped.
Yeah.
Because what would have happened if he didn't get tripped is Heiskanen would have kept moving up, and they just would have. He would have went by him, and then Stone was hoping to poke it on the other side.
Yeah, or they went body to body.
I'm not giving this guy any views. Fuck this. I'm turning this off.
Yeah, you feel bad for Miro Heiskanen, but it was an accident. I feel bad for Miro Heiskanen. I think he's a great player.
I And as much as I love them, fucking the Empty Netters boys, they were doing this whole bit where, like, I don't know where he got this, because Dan posted something. He's like, oh man, fucking, what is Mark Stone doing? Like, I love the guy, but that was a brain dead move. And I was like, I just responded, I'm like, it's brain dead to get tripped by Rupe Hintz. And then he was like, okay, hands up, I'll admit I didn't see the trip. I'm like, yeah, probably because fucking Ray Ferraro was fucking
replaying that shit over and over again. Yeah,
was beaking off like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I mean,
but on this one of their last episodes, they're like, he was like, oh, so all these, you're like, well, now we know that Hastings going to be out for however long. Like, so all these Vegas fans that were saying that he wasn't even hurt that bad, blah, blah, blah. I was like, hey, I never said he wasn't hurt that bad. He was obviously
injured.
Hurt.
Yeah, it looked bad.
I'm just saying it was Rupe Hintz's fault, because it was.
Yeah, like, he was hurt. Very verifiably hurt. I feel bad for Miro Heiskanen. Rupe Hintz caused that whole thing.
Yeah.
If Rupe Hintz either, and you said, you would say, they keep saying, oh, well, Stone should have fallen down. Who was this?
That's exactly what he did.
Who's this? Like, first of all, why didn't you immediately call the penalty? And then second of all, if he went and like flopped over, who's to say that this terrible reffing wouldn't have called that for a flop?
Yeah,
because you don't know.
Yeah, and it just kills me because I'm like, can someone draw up for me exactly what they thought he could have done? Like, he got tripped. He was like basically parallel with the fucking ice. Like,
yeah,
was he supposed to turn on his thrusters and a little jet would open up in his abdomen and blast him up into the air?
Would you want him to like turn his body so he put his chin and his chest into Miro Heiskanen's knee? Like,
yeah, like it was he supposed to like fucking, I don't know, tuck in and make a ball and like roll away?
This is Rupe Hintz's fault. Like, sorry, like, don't stick your stick out to trip a guy that you know your star defenseman's behind you. It doesn't matter who's behind you. Like, you know the type of player, like, you know Mark Stone's going for that play.
Yeah, and then, again, some fucking idiot Dallas fan on Twitter, I said something along the line, because he said something stupid, and I brought up the point. I'm like, well, if you look at the game clock, less than a second passes, so you're saying he had time to midair in less than a second, like, fucking divert his body, or even realize that he needed to, even realize that he was on a collision course with the knee.
Yeah.
And he said something like, well, maybe you or I couldn't, but a professional athlete could. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. You're a moron.
Do you think they're fucking Jedi Knights, like, able to contort their body in the air? Like,
I think
they're human, just like us. Like, they're top peak physical condition, but doesn't mean they can angle their bodies in a certain way to miss someone's knee magically.
And did I send it to you, the post game Vegas show? When they take calls afterwards.
No, I didn't see that one.
There's this fan that calls in a lot. Her name's Rita. She's an older woman, and she's a real character, and she fucking hates the Oilers, and she hates.
Shout out Rita.
Shout out Rita. She hates the Stars.
Hell yeah.
And
that kind of lady.
Yeah, she and usually fucking Ryan Wallace or whoever will try to guide the conversation. Uh-huh. She just popped off.
She's like, he has let her loose.
Exactly. She's like, well, Ryan, I'm sorry, but I'll try not to curse. But these Dallas fans are some of the dumbest folks I have ever met. And she just went off for 10 minutes.
Hell
and
yeah,
I was
Rita.
like, this is fucking awesome. I was like, yeah,
this is
Rita's the real one. Rita's the real one.
This is our what was that guy's name that called him for Buffalo, but for a good thing. Or like not criticizing the team, but just being a real one for the Golden Knights.
Mm-hmm.
But no, like let's look. I know we're going long. Obviously, it's going to go long because we haven't talked to each other in 2 weeks. But you can even look back with Dallas of just not the teams. Like, teams obviously have bad blood, right? Because they played each other a lot in playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But just the fans alone. Sure, everybody's got bad fans. Don't get me wrong. There's some fans at Golden Knights games where I'm like, I don't like you, and we like the same team. Like, you just seem like a piece of shit. But they've never had to call a Golden Knights regular season or playoff game early because fans are dumping trash on the ice.
Yeah.
You know what? The Oilers, as much as we hate the Oilers, you know what the Oilers didn't do? They didn't dump shit on the ice when we beat them in that series.
And don't forget,
they didn't put a fan in the hospital jumping him after a game, because he was wearing Golden Knights gear.
Yeah.
Like,
Spider-Man 3 when fucking Peter's like, you're trash, Brock. That's me with Dallas, the whole city of Dallas. I'm like, you're trash, Dallas.
Yeah, I mean,
you're trash.
Really, I hate Oilers. I mean, I do hate the Oilers. But when you can compare a fan base, as much as I hate the Oilers and some of their fans, I've never once had a positive interaction with a Dallas Stars fan.
Yeah.
I have had multiple very positive interactions with Oilers fans that come to Golden Knights games. I know you've had negative ones, but I've talked to guys, I've told the story before, where they're like, they're in our section or somewhere else, and we're just talking. He's like, "Oh yeah, these young guys don't understand the fucking hell we went through for like 20 some odd years after Gretzky. Like they're having fun, and we're getting there, but we're having like just a friendly talk. I've had more friendly talks with other fan bases that weren't the Dallas Stars.
Yeah. When I interact with a Dallas Star fan, I feel like there's an immediate danger that a racial slur is going to come out.
From you or from the Stars fan? Joking with you?
From them.
I know, I'm joking with you. I'm fucking with you, Jacob.
Yeah, it's just that, yeah.
It just feels, it's...
Either that or there's going to be some kind of, like, physical confrontation.
Right, because, like, as much as we hate the Sharks, like, their fans are shitty, but, like, whatever, you get over them. They're just, they're having a good time. The Ducks, even Ducks fans, I'm like, okay, whatever. We are one of our players in our fantasy league. He's a huge Duck fan. We talk shit, and you know what? We talk shit and we have a good time when we laugh when we're buddies afterwards.
Yeah.
Kings fan, I've come around on Kings fan for the time being. There's been flames and Kings fans like in comment sections on the on the hockey subreddit defending the Golden Knights and like supporting our cause. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah,
it's in just such a random team. The Stars. Of all the teams, the Dallas Stars.
I think it's because even though we've met in the playoffs 3 times and they've eliminated us twice, but I think it's the fact that
we won.
That when we beat them, we went to the Cup and
we won. Yeah,
because when the first time they beat us, they went to the Cup and they got fucking smoked in 5 games.
Yeah, they did.
Tampa.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe it's that, but God.
It's something. It's like they're in the same conference, but it's a rivalry that you just don't expect to happen, right?
Yeah.
Like the Oilers, I fully expected that to happen. Both teams are good, fully expected. The Kings, close. That's a good rivalry. The Sharks, good rivalry. The Kraken, it'll be one soon, as the team gets better. Fully expect all those to happen because they're all within division. Even with the Avs, too. The Avs, I would say we have a good rivalry.
Yeah.
But I don't hate the Avs fans. Like,
yeah.
Kyler's a great guy. He's a huge Avs fan. I've talked to Avs fans before. They're cool people.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because they live in fucking Texas or live in Dallas.
I was about to say
it's just the city's toxic.
I was about to say what this is really sounding like is a Texas problem.
Texas, it's a state.
It's a Texas problem.
I think it is. I mean,
I know Alberta's kind of a hick province, but like Texas,
they got free healthcare, so they got one thing off their brains.
I know, right? There you
They got one thing they don't have to worry about.
That doesn't manifest as fucking hatred in hockey games.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, dude, I hate Jamie Benn, like to my core. I don't hate many players. Like I hate Connor McDavid because he's so good.
Yeah.
I hate Leon Draisaitl because he's so good. But you know what? But you know what? I respect the talent because they're fucking incredible hockey players. I hate Jamie Benn.
Yep.
I hate his printer ink hair and his fucking big ass, ugly ass head.
Yeah.
He's fucking fumbling around on the ice. I hate him having no visor. Fucking dumb fucking. I hate Jamie Benn.
Yeah, he's just the typical guy that has hung around for too long just by hurting people and being just good enough to skate by.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how this turned into. I mean, obviously we know how this turned into the Dallas Stars hate 10 minutes. Bullshit with Mark Stone, but bring it back to Mark Stone. We're watching Nightlife, and do you think Mark Stone pulls off a goal tonight? How do you think he feels about playing against Jack Eichel?
I think he just loves to play and loves to win so much that he's not going to give a fuck.
Yeah, I think so.
Like
I think Jack Eichel's gonna be the same way.
Yeah, exactly. And neither of those guys are like, they're not gonna be throwing elbows or anything like that.
No,
they're just gonna be competing And hockey's so fast. I feel like when they're playing, they're not consciously thinking like, oh fuck, that's Mark.
Yeah,
he's just thinking like, oh puck, get the puck.
Yeah,
puck,
exactly.
Puck.
Yeah, I mean, I think anybody that's on the line with Sidney Crosby's got a good chance of scoring. Anybody on the line with Jack Eichel's got a great chance of scoring.
Yeah, I'm hoping for big things from that stepbrothers line.
Yeah, I'm some fireworks, some physical play. I hope there's gonna be some
I'm really hoping
scrums. I'm hoping Binnington loses his mind.
Yeah, I know, for real.
I want that man to lose it. So I don't want Aiden Hill to go in. Let me keep that straight.
I was saying, like, I hope Binnington gets pulled. They put Aiden Hill in, and then Jack Eichel scores on him in the first shot.
Yeah, I hope Binnington just starts getting fucking. He gets like 3 goals pulled on him, and he just starts fucking losing it. Just goes crazy, and I'm like, yeah, let's get this shit electric. That arena is gonna be loud as shit. Yeah. They're going to be booing the U.S. anthem. The U.S. players are going to hate that shit. Mm-hmm. Everybody's going to be... it's going to be... This game is... I know it's a perfect blend of toxicity, talent, and hype. I'm like, I'm so ready.
Yeah, there's going to be fireworks.
Oh, yeah.
I'm hoping for a big night for Jack Eichel where he just gets like fucking 5 points or something, and then... I don't know. Maybe people start putting some respect on his name.
He's just a little top 10 scorer in the league right now. Mm-hmm. And then he's number 3, I think, in assists.
Yeah. And another thought I had, if he has some big time defensive plays and because he's their number 1 matchup center, he's gonna be playing against McDavid and McKinnon all night. If he has some big defensive plays, I hope everyone watching realizes he should be at the top of the Selke race.
Yep, I think so. I mean, Barkov didn't do great, in this international play. He's still a great player. Marner's not playing for defense. But if Eichel goes out there, like, for example, if it's like, late, USA's up 3-2, right? And there's like 5 minutes left. And he's throwing him out there with, Austin Matthews is a good defensive center too.
He is.
If they throw, out there, for example, Matthews, Eichel, and one of the Kachucks, because they're both pretty decent at defense. I would say Matthews a little bit better. Throw that out there against, McKinnon, McDavid, Crosby.
Yeah.
That's gonna be number A1 matchup right there, right?
Yep.
This is, again, it's surprising me. I was excited for it, but it surprised me how absolutely fucking hyped I am for this game. This is like second to only the Stanley Cup Finals for me. Right now, I haven't been this excited about hockey since Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah, well, you were on a fucking boat.
I was on a boat, and I was still excited, but I haven't been this excited since the Stanley Cup Finals for us. And again, fuck anybody that is whining about this, that think this isn't a good tournament or isn't a good thing. This is exactly what hockey needed.
Yeah. On Bluesky, Rob Rossi, he said something like right before the game started, like, it's almost like he could sense everyone getting excited, and he felt the need to make a post about how he wasn't excited.
Who's Rob Rossi?
He's an athletic guy. I think he covers the Penguins.
Oh, that's why he's a shithead.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like he sensed the excitement.
And
then decided to make a post saying like, well, I'm probably not going to watch tonight, because frankly, I'm just not interested in this tournament. And if you are, that's okay. But to me, there's just nothing worth being excited for. And maybe I'll watch the USA opener, but don't expect a lot from me. And
it's like, Rob?
After the game,
nobody cares.
Exactly. After the game, I found that post and I commented, and I was like, well, you fucking missed out, dude.
It's like, you know what? Nobody cares.
That's my only response when people are going to be like that. If they're still somehow weren't converted by now, I'm like, well,
this is so much fun.
Yeah, I'm like, if you're still not on board, then fucking you're missing out, and that's your problem.
And
it's
then
not
some
my
of
problem.
it's like old hockey purists too, or like, there's people I don't like in the game. It's like, oh well, why are they doing it this way?
Why isn't it the way it was when I was 12 years old? That was the best way.
Why aren't there big hulking defensemen that are just hitting everybody in the chin? Who is this? I know we make fun of Lane Hudson. Who is this small little Lane Hudson kid getting cheers in Montreal? I'm like, it's because he's good.
Well, I feel like there's 2 guys in hockey that have that personality type, but somehow they're on the opposite end of the spectrum. There's those guys are like, I want some guy that can only skate fucking 5 miles an hour to just punch people. And then there's also guys that are like, Actually, physicality and size is just stupid.
Yeah.
It's all about the highest skill and, who has the best Corsi, and they get really deep into the stats. And
you know what's hilarious, though?
People that are like, oh, yeah, well, statistically, Jesse Puljujärvi is actually better than Connor McDavid if you look into the advanced stats.
Like, yeah, well, you know what? Sure. Jesse Puljujärvi's got a PTO with fucking...
an AHL team. Yeah.
But, it's funny that you make that comparison when... There's 2 original 6 teams that have both polar opposites of those on their team.
Yeah.
Like with the Canadians, you've got Lane Hudson, all skill, not much physicality or defense, and then fucking Arborjet guy, big and can only hit things, can't skate to save his life. And with the Rangers, most of those forwards.
Yeah.
And then fucking Matt Rempe.
Yeah.
No, it's like, again, it's the thing that gets me with sports. I think of which that football and basketball have done better is being more accessible and just being fun, like having personalities, right? With football, you see it because you got these guys in commercials and you've got these guys celebrating on the field and having a good time. With basketball, kind of similar way, like they're allowing you to show their personalities. Some decisions in basketball are made. Who cares? But with hockey and baseball too, there's such like an old way of thinking of like it should be only this way. We're the game purists.
And hockey fans are like the biggest gatekeeper assholes.
Oh yeah, and again, it's such a small sport, right? Where football, there's a lot more access.
Do you even know what icing is?
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, exactly. Like all these other sports have more access to it. And we're hockey, like rather than going, this is hockey. You wanna see how it's played. You want to learn. Look at all these things you can learn about. Look at all this history. They go, you're a new fan. What do you even know what the rules are?
Yeah.
Just don't be a dick. Like,
well, that's hard for a lot of people apparently.
I know we're assholes, and but like I think we're assholes.
Are we though? Like
we're assholes in the sense
compared
of
to
like
most people.
And the opposite of that though, like. We're assholes in like what the like the Dallas thing. It's like, what's wrong with you? Like, do you not know how? Like you said, well, you and I can't, but a professional athlete can. I'm like,
no,
are you stupid?
I don't think it's being an asshole to say someone being stupid. If you say something stupid, call it what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Call it what it is.
Yeah, but we're at almost an hour 45. You know what?
Wrap it up.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Tonight's gonna be fun. Hope USA does well. I hope the Kachucks get into shit.
Oh yeah.
I hope they get into some scrums and they start shit. I mean,
give me a Pappy Hattie.
All signs point to that will happen because again, within the first minute, Brady Tkachuk was stirring shit in front of UC Saros against Finland.
Do you want to do a score prediction real quick?
Sure. What do you got?
I'm just going to go with the first thing that popped in my head. USA 5-4 overtime winner.
I was going to say USA 3-2 overtime.
There we go.
So I think we both agree it's going to be a tight game, and I think it's going to be a ton of fun.
I think whenever one team scores, the other team is going to respond.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We're just going to be watching 2 heavyweights trading blows. So,
yep.
I'm excited.
Very.
4 Nations is awesome. International hockey's awesome.
Yep.
Can't wait for the Olympics. Can't wait for the World Cup.
Oh, yeah. There's so many hockey things to look forward to.
The sport's in a good place, people.
We didn't even get to the Silver Knights. Real quick. 9-2.
9-2.
9-2. Playing tonight.
There we go.
They're looking great. They've made comebacks. They've had great games. Holy shit. I don't know what's happening. Might not make it back into the playoffs because their beginning of the season was so dog shit.
At least they won't be an embarrassing fucking shit stain on the league.
They are 27th, I believe, right now at 32. Hey, we're moving up the rankings.
Moving on up.
And they're playing Tucson today and tomorrow. So if they beat Tucson 2 games in a row, I think they might pass Tucson.
Wow.
So
all right.
We're right there.
at least we'll increase our chance of signing some veteran free agents.
Hey, they're hot.
Instead of
love it.
Instead of them just being like, oh no, I'm not playing there. Fuck that.
Ew.
Ew.
Well, until next week. I mean, oh boy.
Pops, be good.
Well, we're gonna be headed to watching this game, but until next week, stay gold.
Stay gold and free bird, yeah.